for initiating this kind of recording, and I hope this kind of activities will bring further enhancement of or widening the knowledge of PhD research scholars. And this is a need of the hour. Many scholars are regularly attending webinars, conference, but we never know what they have learned from the webinars. So this in fact will lay down further initiative so that what they have learned is recorded or being discussed for the benefit of the scholars, so that we can have a good research practice leading to the good finding which will bring name and fame of English department, and also to promote Manipur University, which is one of the vibrant university in Northeast India, connecting to Southeast India, like Buriram Rajabhat University and Surindra Rajabhat University in Thailand and Mandalay University in Yangon, and of course leading to further connection in Taiwan. And of course we are very privileged to listen to Willie A. Renendia, one of the most renowned ELT practitioners. He is the one of the leading professor in the National Institute of Education, Nanyang Technical University in Singapore, one of the best in Asia, a leading institute in the world. So thank you Renendia, and thank you Achan Ik, the Dean School of Buriram Rajabhat University, Thailand, for allowing our students to attend the webinar. In fact, the collaborative academic exchange is being initiated. Only we are waiting for the formal memorandum of understanding where your university and Manipur University has already agreed upon. So before we start the program, I would like to thank the technical team for initiating, and we have not asked any of the technical staff from the university. Otherwise, it would have been much better. But we are trying to have a kind of local resources so that English department, the research scholars of the English department are capable of coming up with this kind of own activities. And let's see, it's not a big challenge, and we will try to improve further. Now, Banti Laisram and Udat Pukren, who have registered or selected very recently from the session of PhD coursework 2021, 22. Of course, scholar coursework is being initiated, and practically it will be starting from next week. So this, I hope, will be a kind of ongoing activities, not only for them, and also we will see how many scholars can give this kind of presentation. And these presentations will be recorded. At the end, if we can come up as a resource book for further reference to other scholars, is the objective of our initiative. So thank you all for participating. And now I hope you have listened to the presentations of Banti Laisram and Udat Pukre. Therefore, this viable research in ELT, which is relevant even for literature research, relevant for research in humanities and social sciences. Of course, it may be very far-fetched to make it related with other science, but paper one in general is relevant to all the research scholars by the definition that what is research. So therefore, what they have laid down is open for discussion. Now all the participants, now we have research scholars who are already registered, like PK, Amit, Joyce, and Yaibaba. Of course, Zimmi from Mandalay University is also here. And of course, we have two other scholars who have just applied, and their permission to attain the coursework has already been given, though verbally. So you all are welcome. Now, on the basis of that presentation, you can raise issues relating to your research goal or your assumptions, and those who have already started working. There is no end to research, so this discussion will lead to some sort of solution relating to your problem, because in research is never ending, it's ever going. But we have formulated some possibilities, do's and don'ts. So I hope this will contribute at least some aspect of your research. So is now open for discussion.
I have a question for Banti. Banti, biometric currency relevance and sustainability in research. You have discussed on the topic very minutely, and it was very interesting. But I have a proposition. Let me put forward. Will it be only necessary for ELT's research community, or say like researchers in other subjects, say in sciences, or for the researchers in English literature? Will such elements also be necessary to them too? Could you explain me with some of your suggestions referring to your presentation?
Yes, I think it would be relevant for other subjects, other humanity subjects also, and for literature also, because every subject has their own big players, which Udat Ras has explained in his presentation, that we need to identify the relevant, the related big players and read their current topics. So it is not only for ELT but for other subjects too. We can refer to their to the recent and contemporary works which are still being discussed and talked about, and I think that will help in influencing the research findings. So I think it is relevant for other subjects also. Today I talked about ELT because the webinar.
That is the thing. Yeah, that is the thing I would like to mention.
Yeah, that is my.
And I have a question for Udarats too. Udarats, as far as your presentation is concerned, I have a doubt, and the doubt is that what if we are doing research on a topic we only knew to a contemporary, that is the topic is totally different. Say like we have selected a topic in manipulative literature, and we didn't found any reviews or journals or articles. Would it be possible to do research on that topic?
So, as far as my knowledge is concerned, when listening to Dr. Willy Renandia, we can take up new topics, but the thing is that maybe I don't know if it's related to literature, but it is more ELT focused.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we have to have a basic understanding, basic framework in that area that we are going to research. Let's say the research is on folk literature, let's say.
Yeah.
The folk literature, then we need to have understanding of what is folk
Yeah,
literature.
there would be no materials. Right.
I mean, but that's the thing. If we have no materials, then we, say, you have to bring up your new theoretical framework. That is very,
modify the topic a bit.
Finding the topic is very, so to say, a bit of work, and maybe we cannot find that topic. Research is maybe viable, but how much viable it is in the long run, I cannot say.
That's
Okay, I'm expecting this response from Joyce, Amin, and
Thank you.
Yaibaba, because for Udat it is still little premature to give his decision. Right? Yes, Yaibaba.
So shall I respond to PK?
Yes.
Okay, PK has raised a very important issue. Like Mr. Dr. Renandia has talked about the current issues or debated issues, which are discussed at the moment. So that is one thing, but we should also we should also try to know the meaning of research. Research means something should exist beforehand, and we are trying to produce a new dimension that existed thing. So that is the research. So you are asking about the difficult situation whereby you will not get enough materials for that research. So there lies the problem. Like that research cannot go further because you don't have the materials. Like somebody is trying to do research on one novel or one writer. So sometimes they find it very difficult. They find it very difficult to go forward. Even my wife, who is doing research in the works of Mahasweta Devi. So Mahasweta Devi has written lots of books, short stories, but she has written everything in Bengali. So the translations are very few. So she is facing lots of problems. So Professor Kunjo has asked her to modify the topic, change the topic, so that room for research is created. So that is the thing we can discuss. And Dr. Renandia's viewpoint is not meant for only ELT thing. His views are universal in the sense that he is talking about doable. Viable means doable research. So if we don't have materials, or if we don't have method or any research materials, then we cannot go forward in any field, in any subject. That is one thing. Because we are not dealing in the pure science. That is my observations. So I think others.
Anyone who can reflect? Yes.
Yeah.
Though Yaifava has given his viewpoint. Jamie, Joyce, or Amit, you want to add something? Counter? It's open for discussion.
I'd just like to add one thing. I'm doing my research on technology here in Manipur, but the thing is that I cannot just do it in vacuum, because let's say even for me also, like if I search for study materials regarding the use of technology or the use of computer in Manipur, then I might get one or two articles like written in particularly in the condition of Manipur. So like your concern is about folk, like you have given an example regarding folklore, right? So like folklore of Manipur, either you get materials for folklore in Manipur or not, but you get the materials for folklore for other other culture or other countries. So from there, that can be one of the framework for you to do your research in Manipur. I think that is also possible.
Okay. Jamie, you have to have any comment?
I also study about the related literature review. So one of the scholars said literature review, when we write the literature review, is we see the problem from the shoulder of other scholar. The previous scholar see the problem from one dimension, and other scholar see the problem from the different dimensions. So and then the previously the MPs also mentioned that one, the currency and
Current and contemporary.
and then in there also the research should be the durable and measurable. So when we select the literature review, or when we select the topic, it should be there will be the related literature review.
Okay, Joyce. Okay. We have listened to a few responses. But let us not miss the target. The objective of the webinar was a part of, PhD course. They are now at the back end of their PhD course. So after 3 months, they will be asked to submit their proposal. So before they submit this proposal, they will be, they should be able to choose a viable research topic. So this is quite open. But then, Renandia's proposal was more of a theoretical. Let us not miss right? And of course, the IFAB have rightly referred, because what is possible and what is not possible should be decided by the supervisor. Okay? And it will be reviewed by, research advisory committee or departmental research committee. So, we cannot conclude that this is viable or this is not viable. It has to be authenticated. There comes the importance of, so more or less it was, referred to when, it comes to the presentation of Udat Ras on the second part of Renandia's, but third part is still, left for some more days. That is sustainability, right? So when it comes to the second part, we could conclude very clearly that it is very much related to literature review. Now, why literature review is important in research, right? There comes the question of reliability, is it, possible, doable or not, will be decided after getting the relevance, right? Yes, I would like to thank PK because he asked a very, very relevant issue. It's possible or not, supervisors should decide, but to sum up, what is review of literature? Now there, we know, of course, we cannot miss the entire unit of the coursework. Data is very important in all the research, in social science and humanities. Of course, we cannot bring those research which is being conducted in physics department or biochemistry. They may have some problem, they can lead from that chemical issues or reactions. Their research is different. But here, both in humanities as well as in social science researches, we need to have some framework. Okay? May not be Manipuri. Amit has rightly added, we may not have enough material in Manipur. It doesn't mean that research cannot be, carried upon. It's possible. But we need to look at where are the other possible relevant models. So therefore, in research, methods and approaches becomes very, very important. Okay? In your coursework, you will be decided if you choose a topic related to humanities, literature, your approach may be feminism, your approach may be post-colonial, modernism, so where all the theories will contradict to each other. Okay? Now when it comes to the question of ELT, ELT is more related to social science research, where primary data are more concerned. So when Reni Nilandia discussed, he was more focused towards sources already available. But sources which is already available will be the guiding principle in order to find out the new sources. So he has not completed his presentation. However, it has opened a good opportunity for all of us. Now, if you have any other queries, we can discuss why we are initiating. Thank you to Pavini, Joyce. She has really involved and laid down that this will lead us to explore further. Now, why I'm initiating, why the department is keen to do this is that Manipur University, so far we don't have any recording, which is referable, right? If you want to see the example, is available, is listed or prescribed in the books. If we can come up with this kind of YouTube, some of the research scholars can refer. English department already had a YouTube on this later on. So all your support is required. You have any other query?
Sir, actually I have, it's not exactly a query, just that I just want to ask that, both Udat and Banti, have you already sent your syllabus for coursework?
Yes.
So I just want to know that you have attended this webinar, and this webinar is also on the basis of their university coursework student. So how relevant, after attending this webinar and that of your coursework syllabus. How relevant and what is or what are your takeaway from this webinar that you can apply in your coursework?
For me, it was very informative. Like, it was an eye-opener on some issues which I have overlooked, like if you're getting too many informations or if you're getting too many findings. Like, I thought that would be possible, but the main takeaway is I have to narrow it down and focus more on the contemporary topics which are still discussed. That was something new to me. So it was more like an eye-opener, and I am still yet to explore and consider a viable topic for my research. So this webinar, it truly helped me, and I believe that it will help me consider the key points which he had mentioned while choosing a viable topic. So it was very informative and it was very concise. I'm very privileged to be a part of that.
Actually, I agree with on this point, but to add to her point that it is very we get to know about the vitality of the research. It is also in our coursework that has been done, that we've been attending, is to find out what are the relevant sources, what are the relevant ways to do our research. And this kind of webinar that we live in India, it has initiated a way to how to find research that it is very relevant to the topic that we are going to do in the coursework, because without this knowledge, we are at a loss, we have no idea what is going on, because there are many resources, sources, references to refer to, but we have no idea how to use those references. So I think that it has provided us with a framework, a basic fundamental framework to work upon and develop our resource in future.
Okay, I'm happy that Amit really raised an important issue. Now, this is where I need to mention the importance of PhD ordinance of Manipur University. Manipur University PhD ordinance is the guiding regulations for implementing. However, coming to your research, you need to look at your syllabus. So the syllabus which we prescribe, we follow in Manipur University, is not exactly similar with the Buriram Rajavat University. They have no literature. They consider English as a foreign language, and it is more close towards, like you will find in the, flyer itself, backdrop itself. They are humanities and social sciences. And ELT is closely related to social sciences, where data are supposed to be data and also approach to be very pragmatic. Okay, so that's why let the course be completed, and then we will try to rethink again what are the possibilities. Now, one important thing which is important is that whenever you give your proposal, now we have 2 scholars whose proposal has to be quickly completed within a week. Now, when Udat was referring to the second part of Willie Renandia's presentation, where he said even you can have 1,000 references, right? My experience in Assam University in linguistics department, because I was coordinating to the school where English, foreign languages like Arabic, French, and linguistics was together in the same school. Now it is divided. So there, scholars from linguistics department come up with only 10 references, whereas English research scholars come up with 20 or 30 references in their proposal. Sometimes we ask them to include more references, otherwise it doesn't look like a PhD proposal. Your proposal should comprise at least 20 to 40 references. Okay? So he was referring that your research proposal should have minimum 100 references. Remember? Okay, you can have more than that. That means you should have a strong background, strong foundation. If you read those relevance, yesterday it was Joyce who was referring to 3 important books, right? And of course, Yaipaba already digested few of them, so he could give, bring more relevance. Therefore, reading is very, very important. Okay? Without reading or without proper homework, we should never attempt. Okay? Even, PK is working on, the novels of Bai M. Maisnamba, one of the leading novelists in Manipur, but less known to the other world. So his research is very local, but his local research may bring internalization. That is where Renenda was talking about, local and international, right? So there is a link, but to collect data from already referred, no. He is going to be the pioneer, but he cannot miss the other areas, because regional vernacular writers like Yaipaba was referring to his experience of Mahasweta, right? Though Mahasweta is now a nationally known figure, whereas B.S. Maisnamba is not nationally even known, still remain in the state, not even in the region. So role of the scholar is to promote them in the regional and national level. So reference and relevance has to be worked upon. So you need to explore and read further. That's why this time some of the scholars, including Paveni, Amit and Yaipaba, you work. I don't, I say you work, read more. Because spoon feeding is not good. I had the experience, right? That is why from this page, at least you explore, okay? My first experience as a supervisor was a big flop. They got PhD is a different issue. I'm not happy. Okay? Now the previous batch who have recently completed, I'm happy to some extent that, we are progressing. So this batch should be more effective in terms of outcome, so that Manipur University is known to the global, research activity. Okay? Any other observations if you have? Come, let's conclude, because already almost 1 hour plus.
So is this a request?
Yes.
Can we do something, a session like this on sociolinguistic, same with ELT?
It will come. Some of the scholars are working, somehow it is very related to psycholinguistics, sociolinguistics, it will come. This is related to paper 1, okay, in general, related to paper 1 or Manipur University. When you talk about, psycholinguistics, sociolinguistics, the topic will decide, right? Can you tell something about sociolinguistics?
Social linguistics, based on what I have studied, it's studying the relationship between society and language, like how our language change differing to the kind of audience that we're exposed to, say the kind of language that I'm using towards sir, and the kind of language that I will be using with my friends, and the kind of language that I use with my family, it actually differs. So social linguistics, it studies on those kind of differences.
Okay, Hosier's query has...
There was 2 presentations given by Joyce and Raj regarding sociolinguistics, and we have the recording, and you can access to that for further clarification.
And also, see, whatever we propose as a proposal, as a title of your PhD thesis, it happens that sometimes after the probation, after completing 3 years, when data survey of data started, sometimes it becomes not doable. Okay, so therefore my suggestion is, so all the 3-4 scholars should keep in touch with your previous student. It doesn't mean that they will give you the solution, but they will be a part of your, a team in your discussion. So that, not today, tomorrow, they will reflect, oh yes, it should have been like this and that. Okay, that's why, though they have, done the final decision, I have not touched. You start your, question, prepare your questionnaire survey, start data collection. We may have, a time to change a bit also. But if you are aware right from the beginning, okay, good, what is, the proverb, said by Shakespeare, if a beginning is well, half is done, right? Not like,
Well, we can.
yeah, something like that. So I'm creating this kind of awareness so that we will try to have a better, and also, particularly we don't know how many, like Gonmai, when you came with your proposal, I didn't say just for the sake of, registration, whether final or provisional doesn't matter, you need to generate the scholarship, so it's okay. Otherwise, we need to re-look whether those references are really relevant or not. So in this age of internet, Renendia was referring to a lot of books specific to ELT, and he has been regularly editing as Scopus, referee, one of the most important expert, and he's one of the most important referee. Okay, so he received many articles related to ELT. So he was relating his experience. So that was a good opportunity. So I made a plan that, okay, let them start before the coursework, but luckily coursework, seems to be starting from next week. So don't miss the opportunity. Whatever, you came to know, share with others, because research is something, the more you share, the more you learn. It's not like you have one gold coin, if you keep it with you, if you have 1,000 rupees, after 5 years, your 1,000 rupees, that value will be equivalent to 500 rupees. Because value will go and change, right? Because if you have 1,000 rupees, invest wisely. So like when you get a knowledge, try to share, you will get interest of your money, right? By sharing with others. The more you share, the more you learn. Okay? Any other questions? Any one of you want to give a kind of comment or observation so that we can come to, conclusion? Say, call it a day. Should we say call it a day?
So
Okay.
a lot of things would be given by
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
right, come.
No problem.